Welcome to Judge Me Not, a safe place to have real conversations with real ass people. Hey y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, like always, to another episode. I'm your pretty cool host, at least I think so myself. So, before I start, if you have not listened to part one of Loner Mentality, I advise you to do so to get the full validity of the message for the entire episodes combined, right? So basically, a quick recap. Loner Mentality Part 1, I kind of gave a breakdown of how someone, i.e. myself, but other individuals also obtain the loner mentality, and how moving through life, you carry that mentality with you from being pre-exposed adolescent to disappointment. So your expectations are very low when it comes to other people very early on in life. And in return, you find yourself in situations that you probably shouldn't have. So that builds a whole cycle or whatever to establish this loner mentality. Now, I can't just say and justify why a motherfucker think like this. And trust me, it is very, very not necessarily refreshing, but to see some of y'all, come to DM and be like, not me being a loner too. I know I ain't the only one, but I feel like you can acknowledge that you do have that mentality and choose to keep it. I can't tell you how to live your life. If you feel like that mentality works best for you and it is a protection mechanism that you want to continue to carry with you, then so be it. Do you? I'm just doing, I'm just telling y'all what I'm working through and how it's benefited me. And shit. The thing about life, it's for growth. And if you are aware of a something negative that you carry, why not want to change it, especially if you have children? But what do I know? So since I basically gave the breakdown of how we got here, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of give a brief breakdown of why it is important to make a choice to evolve outside of that loner mentality. Again, I can't force you what to do with your life. Please do not take any advice medically from me. I am not a licensed therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, none of that. Give me a few months. I will be a certified life coach, but we're focusing on right now. So let's jump right on up into it. First of all, we was not meant to be alone. We just not. You know, I can get religious with it. I can get scientific with it. We are not meant to be alone. We cannot procreate by ourselves. The male needs the woman needs the male. It takes a village to raise a child, to establish a safety net. This is the intention of mankind, to build a family, to build friendships, to build partnerships, and for that to expand. And that's how people eventually connect globally. It's all through relationships. So you are not intended to go through life alone. Life already fucking sucks. I mean, it's good. And I want y'all to stay with me on this journey called life, but it's hard and it's difficult. So to endure the difficulties of life by yourself is even double the difficulty. I don't even know if that makes sense, but whatever. And it also, to me, I feel like it limits your level of success. If you're by yourself and you feel comfortable by yourself and you choose not to engage in different conversations or to be intrigued by different relationships, then you may not receive the knowledge that you need. in order to get to where you want to be in life. You may not be introduced to the right person that can provide you with the tools or the resources to reach a goal that you want to reach, right? Because you're just trying to figure it out yourself. Not saying that it can't be done. It's a lot of motherfuckers that self-sufficient. Me. And I ain't even made it to where I want to be, but I understand that I lack the support and the resources. So I had to get it out the mud. I had to educate myself. I had to invest in myself in order to make some shit shake. But I know once it gets to a certain plateau, even I reach out for assistance, for feedback, and things like that. So I do feel like failure to be involved with other people limits your success. And when I say success, I'm not even talking about material success as far as money. I'm talking about maybe even parenting. If you are parenting the way that you have parented, even though you know it did not work out the way you wish it would have, but yet that's the only thing you know. So you're in return doing the same shit to your kids because you refuse to build relationships with other people that may have been raised differently, that may have been influenced differently. So they may parent differently. And it might be beneficial for you to see that type of parenting, for you to have those type of conversations, for you to get another outlook on how to handle certain situations as a parent. That's success. Healthy parenting is success. So being to yourself with this no new friends, fuck everybody mentality, it's not how you're supposed to be. And it will limit your success. It will. We all need somebody in some aspect of life. And we got to be careful because, like I said, with that parenting, you will have your kids mirror the same traits that you over time have, I guess, clung to because it gives you comfort, it gives you safety. But in return, you're now projecting that on your children. It's good. Trust me. My kids will never, ever, 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 as adult, be able to say they had anything easy. That their mama did not bust her ass to get anything. I teach independence to my children all the time. I'm talking about you need to be self-sufficient. You need to know how to clean, wash dishes, cook, make your own money, everything by yourself. So you won't be codependent on anyone else. So you won't be easily influenced by anyone else. I'm not saying don't teach independence. I'm saying be mindful to not project the loner mentality on people. If you know how you got that mentality, it is your duty as a parent to do everything the opposite way so your child won't even know what it's like to experience disappointment at an early age. Of course, kids are going to experience disappointment, but if you were disappointed as a child because your parents did not show up for you, you need to show up for your child now that you are a parent. So if you're just naturally doing better than what you was exposed to, then your child shouldn't be groomed to have that loner mentality because they were raised in a fucked up situation. That's the whole part of parenting, is to evolve and to do it better. So not only will they have more than what you have, but they will be better than who you were at their age, right? That's a lot of responsibility, but you know. Um I also feel like getting out of the loner mentality and making a choice to build different relationships on all aspects of life allows you to engage in different conversations with different people. That's also a pretty good episode to check out. No, but seriously. And as you engage in different conversation with people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different ethnicities, different genders, you start to see life from a different viewpoint. You start to hear experiences from situations you'll never find yourself in or you have found yourself in. And that makes you aware of the variety of experiences and perspectives on life. And as your awareness of other people gets expanded, so does your patience. So does your understanding. So does your confidence in what you believe in. So when you find yourself engaging in a difficult conversation with someone, you know now have the tools on how to agree to motherfucking disagree. Period. Because you will always find yourself in a conversation with someone, regardless if it's at a non-business level, a business level, a personal level of regardless, you are going to engage in conversations that you don't necessarily agree with. And it's easy to get in those type of conversation and it be combative and it be aggressive and it escalate to something that it doesn't have to be because there is no understanding. But if your awareness has been broadened by the diverse relationships that you've had because you're choosing to get out of this loner mentality and you're choosing to put yourself out there to build new relationships with people that might not necessarily let you down because they wasn't raised a certain type of way, or that's not who they are as a person, or maybe they were raised the same way that you were, but they have made a choice to be better, do better into people they encounter as an adult, right? So they're going to lead with good intentions, and it's going to be beneficial not only for you, but for them also. So when you find yourself in these situations, shit, you can agree to disagree, because I understand, although I don't understand what you're saying, I can acknowledge that it's your belief based on what you've experienced in life. Just like you can agree or disagree with what I'm saying, but I'm only fucking saying this is because this is where I am in my perspective currently based on what I've been through. Now, if they want to respect that, that's up on them. But once you get out of the loner mentality, you no longer have to isolate yourself from people in order to avoid confrontation or let down or things like that. You can put yourself out there and engage in conversations and engage in encounters with people, but know exactly who the fuck you are, what you've been through, what you believe, and be able to articulate that, but also be able to set a boundary to protect your fucking peace. You see what I'm saying? Instead of going in this cocoon and be like, bitch, fuck you. Get the fuck away from me. I don't need you. Me. I'm currently in therapy working on that because I would dismiss a motherfucker in a heartbeat. Okay, yeah, never mind. This is not even worth it because you're not even contributing nothing to my life in order for me to even sit here and engage this conversation with you. So, and I'm annoyed. So get away from me. And then when I'm in the workplace, just get the fuck away from me. Per my last email, like, so that's negative energy that I'm going in, and I've already allowed these people the power to interrupt my peace. But that's because I'm moving towards that situation with the loner mentality. And then also, once you step out of the loner mentality and you make a conscious choice to deal with the issues that have gotten you to this mind frame, whether it involves forgiveness or just a lot of self-help, a lot of self healing. Once you do the work, you make a choice to step away from this loner mentality, you start attracting what you are. You start attracting genuinely good people. Not only that, then your radar is up and you can spot out the motherfuckers who mean you ill intent, because you're moving on a frequency of really good energy, right? So as you attract these people, it's gonna be uncomfortable, as we talked about in part one. When you have a loner mentality, it's hard to accept compliments. It's hard to accept gifts. It's hard to accept congratulations that are coming from a really genuinely unprovoked place because it's not something that you're accustomed to. But once you move to this place that you no longer want to carry this loner mentality, you start attracting people that don't want to do the same. So they're going to congratulate you. They're going to reward you. They're going to speak life into you. And it's going to become natural for you to not only do the same, but accept that goodness. And as you start accepting that goodness, then your mind frame about yourself is going to start to evolve. You're going to be like, bitch, I deserve this. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, you may not be able to show up for me, and you may not want to follow through for me, and I respect that. But I need you to back the fuck up, stay over there while I entertain the people who can show up for me. God forbid, if I do need something, I can count on them. If I do have a question, they're not going to belittle me. It's something that we're going to work out together. And that gives you a comfort zone for you to be that person for other people without fear of being used, manipulated, or taken advantage of. Because it runs deep. But we talked about it in the first episode. People with a loner mentality are very scarred and hurt individuals. And they have the biggest hearts. And we have high expectations for people because we're genuinely good people. But yet we just been let down time and time and time again. We've been good. We've been hurt. We've been good for being hurt. And after a while, you just be like, bro, fuck this. But it doesn't have to be like that. And you can control the people that you allow around you. And once you make a choice to lead with good, you will attract good. Once you say, I don't want to be by myself, I want to be surrounded by good motherfuckers. That energy you're going to pull out and you're going to build your own little tribe of good motherfuckers. Speaking of good motherfuckers, if you have not, be sure to go ahead and check out my website. I got to plug myself since I'm plugging other people. It is in the description of this episode. Be on the lookout for the Happy Fucker merch that is coming. And yeah, I'm super excited about that. I think you guys are going to love it. But once you get out of that mentality of being a loner and you start attracting good energy, then you start fucking with people that just have good energy, right? And as you do that, you start having a higher sense of value, a higher sense of worth, and you don't feel like you have to protect yourself for being let down because you know you are worthy of being surrounded by motherfuckers who fucking with you 100% all the time. Even on your bad day, they're going to hold you accountable, but they're going to rock with you until you get back on your shit because you good people. And they want to fuck with good people too. So then you start building loyal friendships. So your expectations on friendships start to evolve. And what you're showing your children when it comes to friendship is evolving, right? And then you start having prosperous partnerships, business-ships, entrepreneurships within your workplace. Because you're not easily offended. You're not super guarded. You're not isolated and detached, but you're comfortable enough to engage in conversations with people. And these conversations can lead to bigger opportunities, can lead to broader understanding, can lead to healthier resolutions of conflict. So, of course, you have no choice but to be prosperous. And also can lead to healthy relationships. It's hard to love someone that has a loner mentality because they expect you to let them down. So although they want you to be on their team, they don't know how to be vulnerable to allow themselves to be taken care of. They may allow you, but best motherfucking believe they got a plan A, B, and C in case you fuck up. Their life is not going to be too disruptive because they prepare for the worst for most people. But once you start to heal and you start to address the reasons on how you became to find comfort in this lonely mentality, and you deal with those issues, you deal with that trauma, you heal from that trauma, or you work through and acknowledge that trauma, then you find comfort of saying, well, hey, this is how I am. This is why I am this way. You got to work with me. Once you allow somebody to know why you work the way that you work, then it's easier for them to love you in the manner that you desire and you need to be loved. So that builds for a healthy relationship because you're communicating more. But you got to be vulnerable. And you can't even think about being vulnerable if you do not step away from that loner mentality. You cannot want a healthy relationship but not want to step away from that mentality. There's so many fucking people that I talk to that are unhappy in their situations, but they do not allow their partners to know all of them. They do not allow their partners to know their trauma. They do not allow their partners to know why they are the way they are, but yet they will argue and be combative and be insulted, basically, when their partner brings up something that is a representation of their loner mentality. Because you don't want to talk about it. For what? Because you got that loner mentality. I can love you without allowing you knowing all of me. Because although I love you, I wouldn't be surprised if this did not work out. And it blows my mind that people can allow themselves to build a life with someone for years and still have that dismissive attitude about it. They're going to be hurt, but they're not going to be caught off guard. That scares me. But that's why I bitch is still in therapy and I'm trying to work on myself, because I just don't want to hurt anyone else because I'm still hurt. I don't want to put my kids in a hurt relationship for my selfish needs. So I move very slow when it comes to getting involved with someone else. Also, when you step out of this loner mentality, it builds your family ties. Easy? No. In the manner that you want it to be? Probably the fuck not. Because you got to keep in mind how I explained, most of us got this fucked up loner mentality. It stems from within our family. It stems from within the household. So by you choosing to step out of that, by you choosing to address how you got there, hello, you got to address the ugly truth. Don't have the expectation that the people who caused you to have the loner mentality are going to be ready to have this conversation or even be ready to give forgiveness or to acknowledge how they impacted your life. Do not have that expectation. But go in it with the understanding of this is something that you have to do in order to live the life that you want to live. You got to see a motherfucker for where they are. You got to accept the motherfucker how they can love you. But you can also set healthy boundaries that once it comes hurtful towards you, you no longer allow them to have that access and that ability to do so, right? But once you can express yourself without having conflict, without having confrontation, agreeing to disagree, setting healthy boundaries, but being vocal on things such as if you're disappointed, why you're disappointed, why you set this boundary. And it can be either text. I will text a motherfucker something and block them. I am setting my boundary. I know your response is going to be negative. I know it's going to trigger my fucked up mentality. So in order for me to stay on this path of self motherfucking improvement, bitch, I'm blocking you. I love you, but I'm going to block you. And once you get your shit together and you come back to who you feel like you need to be in order to handle me respectfully, I might unblock you. Healthy boundaries. But you can't do that, and you can't realize what those boundaries are for yourself. You can't find the strength, the energy, and the comfort to engage in these conversations if you do not know your worth. You will never tap into your true worth until you step out of this loner fucking mentality. Because we isolate ourselves. A lot of that, and I say, like, you limit your success. A lot of people with loner mentality are very fucking talented people. And they have these amazing hobbies or ideas or abilities that they hoard to themselves because they don't trust people. or they don't feel like a motherfucker would care. And that's why it goes, I was like, having this mentality will limit your success. It can hinder your success. I know for myself, I have been writing since I was in school, junior high. I've always loved to write. Anybody who know me, a bitch will crack a joke and talk to anybody and just anywhere I am. It's just my personality. I like to make motherfuckers laugh. I like to make motherfuckers smile. I feel like that's my superpower. I want you to have a good day because I'm having a fucked up day and I wish I had somebody like me around me. So I've always done that. And that's my way of coping with pain. But I've never wanted to share my God-given ability or talent with anyone else outside of the people who really knew me out of fear. What if they didn't receive it in the manner that I wanted? Then I'm going to be pissed off. And then I'm going to be mad because I set myself up for that. And I already know people, I don't fuck with people like that. So it was a lot of years of second guessing myself. It was a lot of years of being afraid to ask for help. It was a lot of years of being afraid to put myself out there because I have maneuvered through life so long by my fucking self. Until I started doing the work. And the more I did the work on myself, the more I started being exposed to like-minded people that started pouring life into me, that started pouring knowledge in me, that started guiding me into resources and people who could put me in the right rooms and have the right conversations. Then I started chipping away bit by bit, bit by bit. Now, don't get it twisted. A bitch got a whole bunch of work to do, especially when it comes to relationships. Oh, so I ain't saying it's easy and I ain't saying it's coming overnight. But I know I started to take the steps to improve because I no longer wanted to do what I was doing. Now I know I'm worthy. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But also, for me, I feel like you can't acknowledge that you have the loner mentality. You can't acknowledge what you've been through and accept it to why you are the way you are now and choose to still carry this burden with you, to choose to still isolate yourself. I feel like that's just dumb, to be honest. I feel like choosing to live with your pain is enduring pain in vain. I am the biggest advocate of turning your pain into purpose. Whatever you had to go through your life, you have to find a reason of why you endured it, or you've gone through it for vain. And I don't feel any person was put on this earth to just suffer. I just don't believe in it. So whether it's helping somebody else, tapping into your purpose, using it and profiting off of it, whatever it may be, you have to use your pain and the things that you've endured and what you've learned over that time in some type of beneficial motherfucking way. I need you to do that for yourself. If you got kids, especially for your kids. So I'm going to lead out with this. I didn't check in the beginning because I'm going to check in on my way out. Are you a loner by choice or by experience? Do you remain to be a loner because you're afraid, or you really feel that you're not worthy of what you desire? How long will you continue to move through life with this same mindset? Think about it. I'm just saying. But anyways, fuck with your kid on social media. EnviiDee. I'm on everything. I appreciate you guys for rocking with the kid. And until next time, bye. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I look forward to your feedback. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Judge Me Not. Again, that's Judge Me Not. Me is MII on Instagram and Twitter. I look forward to interacting with you guys. Peace, love, and blessings. Until next time.